favorite social media platform as CCTV and CGTN. So we will give you the more details. And please also leave your message to us. And if you have any questions, I will also give you the answers to my knowledge. So you can look at here where we are now. So here actually is the alarm line, and to the south, actually, that's a way to the most impacted area. We have around 20 the tephra actually caused by this time's volcano explosion. And we only have the people with the certificate, that's the local residents, can enter into that areas. We not really move the whole residents out of the areas. We still have people coming in and out. But for people coming out from other places, you cannot be entered. It's not allowed to enter into that area. So I cannot show you the very close look at these rift zones. But I can show you yesterday about the new update footage. I will show you more later. So here still have a lot of magma behind me. And in front of us, after the volcano eruption and earthquake, there's the first relief stations established. And there are a lot of supplies here for all the local residents. And of course, that's all established by the local volunteers. So that provide help to the local residents. I will show you more and had a little interview with them. And let's look at this area. Actually, this part, that's the volcano of Kilauea. That's the erupted volcano. That's the direction. And let's turn a little bit towards this side. You can see in the air some red smoke. That's very heavy smoke. Hope you can see it. That's in color red. And to the information available on our hand, a new rift zone just emerged this morning. So at the local time Tuesday, the volcano erupted again. We talk about the new rift zones actually were created by this time. It also actually is the explosive one for the volcano eruption. A lot of people actually focus on the news unfolded in Hawaii. Of course, we know at the very beginning, the first time it erupted for this round is around May 3rd local time. So the day after, it created a magnitude 6.9 earthquake. Right now, the volcano eruption continued for 3 weeks. No signs of stop. And the scientists said it will last longer than 3 weeks. So there is one happened at 17th, and there is another explosive eruption on 19th. And we can see that the have a very big ones, and also the big explosion. I will show you the footage by the media in the United States. Show you that's the footage from May 17th and May 19th.
好的，画面中大家可以看到的一开始呢，应该是一个
That's at the very beginning. So in the ashes, you can see that basically through the ash, 9,000 meters into the air. For people like us, we not really lived in that volcano areas. You cannot really imagine how people face day-to-day life and how the volcano explosion or the volcano eruption cause any impact to them. So we will talk more in these details. I'm not the expert in this area, but I learn a lot, I study a lot. I actually found this quite interesting because this is something new for us. This is something new experience for us. It's very different. Hope I can share with you. And you can see the footage that happened on May 17th and May 19th. That's the magma. So we talk about this is because of the rift zones, the way of eruption. Called is the rift eruption. It's not at the eruption from the center, but we still can see this is like the spring. And it's put the ash and the magma to a very high level. Of course, this is really dangerous. And after the 3 weeks eruption, that caused a lot of casualties, but for the damage to the buildings, more than 40 buildings were damaged. And anything that is covered by the tephra is all destroyed. You can see the car is 100% covered by the magma. This is the footage. It's a very shocking footage. Hope through our video clip you feel how strong it is for this time's eruption. For people actually not really live in these areas, not really study in details to look at the footage or look at the information. Because this time is a really big eruption and caused the global attention and also help us to know more details about the volcanoes. Why this time we ask the question, why that caused or drew the attention around the world? Talk about the Hawaiian Islands. Actually, this is a very close place to volcanoes. This is a big island. For the total area compared to other islands in Hawaii is doubled the total area of other islands together. Is talk about Hawaii Big Island. We talk about Honolulu. Honolulu located in Maovahu, and this because of its large areas. So we call it Big Island, and it's also the territory of volcanoes. So people in the ancient time called it the nation of volcano, and there are 5 volcanoes here on this island, and 2 out of the 5 are the lively ones, that are active ones. Let me show you through the map. This is the map. Hope you can see it clearly. So the map is of the big island. So let me put it on the ground. Hope you can see it clearly. So you look at here. So all these actually are the 5 volcanoes, and this one called Mauna Loa, that's the biggest volcano and also the biggest one around the world, and that's the active one. And this one, the smaller size one, is this time's erupted one called Kilauea. And here is also a volcano park, and that's also the most famous park sightseeing places here. And of course, right now because of the volcano eruption, is blocked and closed. So look at where we are living. And we live at this area, and this is also the location of airport. So that's the biggest city on the big island, Aloha. This city is the place I'm pointing. And look at this part, it's the lower part. That's the most affected areas due to the volcano eruption this time. There are 2 highways And right now it's also covered and blocked by magma. And look at the smoke and also the mushroom cloud it look like. There are a lot of engineering trucks coming back and forth. So they are also, the key job for them is they need to clean up the road. So they need to clean up the whole road. There is a road I'm pointing here. We need to clean it up and make the people moving from the impacted areas out. And there is a new rift zones and block the way at the back. So I talked to the local citizens under this circumstance, because right now the volcano is really active and cause a lot of explosive eruption. A lot of things are just out of our imagination. You cannot really predict it. They talk about is a Haley. That's the Pele, the same pronunciation as the football king of Brazil. And in the people's local mythology, they say it's never can be predicted what the king or the goddess of volcano want to do. So there are two active volcanoes on the Big Island. Kilauea is the one, and also the erupted one this time. This is the youngest volcano among the other 5 volcanoes. So from this first eruption, that's around the 300,000 to 600,000 years, and the Mauna Loa is the oldest one. It's around 700,000 years ago. So we talk about the Kilauea. It's a very young one. It's very active from 1983. It never stopped. So it erupted every year. That is why a lot of tourists come to look at the volcano, to look at the movement of the volcano. So they want to see how the volcano erupted. So Kilauea and Mauna Loa actually very close. So at the ancient time, they considered that the Kilauea actually is the satellite of Mauna Loa. But we look at actually for itself, it has its own system. Why we talk it is the erupted in rift style. So all these rift, actually there is a magma river, let's say, a magma channel inside the volcano. So there are a lot of channels in the volcano, and this time actually it erupted and created 20 rift zones. For its eruption, so the temperature can reach 1,500 degrees Celsius, and in the 1970s, it caused 400 people died. That's also the most disaster, and that's also the deadest volcano eruption. So through our footage, you saw the magma, and also that brought the potential risk and the dangers to the local residents, and also damaged the local buildings and properties. So the magma erupted from the volcano brought the 2 danger to the local residents. One, because of that magma. So that's magma flows. You never know where it is heading to. So it's really hard for people to say which way we want to escape. You don't know how long it will last. You don't know the direction it's heading to. So the local residents want to wait and escape for the last minute. That's also caused more challenging to the rescue and relief. So also talk about the tephra. Tephra actually in the end caused the acid rain the Halo actually has the highest amount of rains. So it's have frequent raining days. And also because of the high temperature of magma and the tephra with the raining that can cause the sulfur dioxide. So that sulfur dioxide, also the part of elements who cause acid rain. And acid rain is impact to people's skins. And a new danger. And also the elements in the air. Last weekend, we look at the flow of magma across the road, and at this area, it enters into Pacific Ocean. I will show you more footage from the cameras we did at the up in the air. So that's goes into the Pacific Ocean, and also bring that mineral substance or the small pieces of glass into the Pacific Ocean. So that bring a substance up into the air and also cause a very big impact to people's skins and eyes. That's the major issues that the local people right now are facing. The most dangerous one is the danger caused by magma, because that destroys the house they're living completely. The Red Cross in the United States found 3 shelters to locate the local residents, and this relief stations actually is not the shelter, but the role of the station also shows that there are actually not enough shelters for local residents to move in. For the local residents, all these houses actually are the only buildings they can live in. Actually, I'm not really figure out the reason, because for the first time I came here, I said, why these people, they're waiting till the last minute to escape? Why they not really move and run earlier? Because the whole environment are so dangerous. They face the risks every second, because that the magma will flow into their house any minute. So I talked to the local residents who found out the reason behind. For them, they want to wait till the last minute, because this is the only property, and the house they live in is their only property and assets, and you cannot predict the direction of the flow. And the magma actually not flow in a very fast speed. You're facing like they're flowing to you, and the officials say you need to go now, and you have the time, you have some time for you to run. So that is why a lot of residents still now live in this affected area. So the local guy told me that once the volcano erupted, one of the local residents did not want to leave, don't want to give up their homeland. A lot of people persuade the person, and that person actually found that fortunately magma stopped in front of his house. So that's a miracle. So we also can see this is also the reason behind why local people did not want to leave in the earlier time. They wanted to wait. And let's move and look at the relief station. Let me show you more in the relief station. And today's live stream is from CCTV and CGTN. So people who are interested in our topic, please leave your message. And for the older viewers, right now we are heading to the relief station. Ikai Kamazo, we're the good buddies now.
Hello, Aloha. Hi, we're doing a web live to show the Chinese audience what's going on here. So, are you getting enough resource for the people? Okay. 好的，我刚才问他之前你们的这个资源够不够，他说这就是为什么。
So I ask whether they have enough supplies, and here is a list as the most needed things. So they have the whole list here. So you can see this is the most needed items. So like the room to rent, Airbnb, to provide house and homes, and mask. I think the most urgent things they need to provide is the home, temporary home for the local residents, because right now there are not enough rooms. We can see the supply is actually quite sufficient, but the thing is where we put these people to live. That's the most critical issues right now. For myself, I went to a lot of areas affected by the natural disaster. This is the first time for me to visit the area affected by volcano eruption. The big difference, and also the most challenging part, is because the whole disaster lasts for quite a long time. You have to wait till the activity stopped, and need to wait the magma to frozen. So that take years. So after these years, they need to back to their homeland and rebuild their building. And this is the only place or the home for them is their last property. So within these several years, there's no home to go. So this is the list, the things in need. So the people right now make up this list, and the lack of all these supplies. So we can see the matrix, the batteries, backpack, very, very down to details, drinking cups. So they make the list to daily needs. So all the items they need and lack, they make this list. So you can see the canned food. So the people come here for donation. They will see the things they need urgently. Let's go further down. The very touching scene is a lot of item here. It is not transport here by trucks. As you can find from the supermarket with the boxes come. So you can see the local residents actually they bought from the supermarket and brought to here. So it's not really transport from other areas, just local residents based on their own capabilities to bring everything together here. And this is a canteen. We have the chef to cook for the people. And yesterday for the interview, they also invite us. I think we will not really take up their limited resources. And also the closest donated. We can say that for this disaster caused by volcano eruption, people lost their homes and property. The thing they need, I believe, for the resources or the material, actually not really in urgent, but the worries to the future, the lost their home, I believe that's the most biggest concern. They not really see the hope for the future. That's a big thing. And for the volcano eruption, that also last years. Several years later, they still may be displaced. How to solve these issues? How they can find a home where we can give the support for the coming years? That's the things need to be considered by the government, by the people giving their supports. Yesterday, I talked to a correspondent worked here for several years. He said to me that for the volcano eruption, a lot of media actually never face or have the full coverage of the whole disaster. So there's another city in 1983, the Kilauea erupted, and they used 7 years till 1990. So that the whole city disappeared because of the eruption called Kalapana. That's the small city. So the whole city actually fully covered by tephra. The whole city disappeared. So the correspondent worked for the local newspapers. So he reported the volcano eruption for lifetime. So he showed me a brochure to talk about like this is the city that covered by tephra. That footage, that picture, how it was looked like. And there is a person passing by, and he said like this place there have something what looked like, what it had. So we can see their memory for the past 30 years really still vivid. That's the most touching point. Although the city disappeared, but the memory in people's minds still vivid. So let's look at the questions from the online platform. I try my best to answer your questions. So viewers ask, what's the temperature here? And how that impacts to the temperature for volcano eruption. There's no big impact. Hawaii, we all know it's really hot. The normal temperature or the average temperature is around 30 degrees Celsius. The coolest is around 20 degrees Celsius. So the body feeling temperature will be above 30 degrees Celsius. So because still volcano located in tropical zones. But if you're quite near to the magma, especially yesterday we flew over the magma, we can felt that's really high temperatures. So that before we enter into the area of the volcano zone, actually it was quite cold. But when we approach into magma, we feel it suddenly heated the whole area. So we can tell that a surrounding area of magma, that will be a little bit impact. I believe the temperature will increase. Let's look at any other questions. So from here, hope you can see that color in red. Further down in the center of our picture, our live stream, there's something red in the air. Hope you can see it. That's totally different color compared to the clouds surrounding. Another question. And talk about the magma flew into Pacific Ocean that made the whole island bigger in size. So right now for Hawaii Islands that are accumulated based on the volcano eruption. So the explosive activity really close to people's daily life. Let me answer you this way. Volcano give people in Hawaii land and lives. For volcano islands exist because of volcano eruption, and volcano also bring the tradition and belief to local people. A lot of the local mythology actually linked to the volcano. That volcano also bring the fortune to people. This kind of land. So this kind of land actually full of tephra, and I can tell it's really rich. Besides the big natural disaster, no matter what kind of seed you plant, it will grow up really good because there are a lot of minerals inside. So the local people or the people move to this area, they feel this is really a miracle island. So no matter what kind of seeds you plant it, they will grow up really fast. For a big island, agriculture such as fruit, coffee, sugar, and chocolate are the local key products. That's also the assets brought by volcanoes. Of course, disaster also brought by volcano. But we talk about the natural disaster. It's from our angle, we call it natural disaster. So we think about only the natural activity besides human being factors. We cannot say it's a disaster because that causes risk and dangers to human beings. So human beings call it it's a disaster. But if we stand from the point of view of nature, that's not a disaster. So we need to think about from a really balanced way, because for local residents in Hawaii Islands, they may have a different will. So let me show you the footage we got yesterday from the airplane to show you exactly the affected areas, what's going on there. So the volcano erupted and caused many new rift zones, and a lot of area actually blocked. For these areas, especially the affected areas, actually is highly limited access to the outside. And we also talk about that we look at the magma that flow into Pacific zones or Pacific Ocean. There are a lot of airplane companies or the helicopter companies. They help the tourists to do the touring around. And today we will also take on the helicopter to take some footage. So the rain stopped. It lasted for several days, and luckily it stops a little bit. Hope you can see a very clear picture. Hopefully something like this we can capture today. That's the best result. All right, right now we boarded on a helicopter, fully equipped, very nice weather, and there will be a big wind, so we need to be careful not to put the camera outside. So we will try to fly over rift zones and summit and also the crater. Hope we can bring you the very close and clear footage up in the air.
好的，大家可以看到
Right.
看到的画面。
We are heading to the affected areas. Hope you can see the tephra and magma. And we try to be as close as to the crater. And when it lasted for eruption, for this time the eruption already lasted for 3 weeks. And also the experts said we will not stop till now and will still last a longer time period. So hope you can see clearly the footage we got. And this is erupted Kilauea and also erupted Tuesday morning local time. No one really had exact timeline about when the eruption stopped. So it's created new rift zones this time. We are very safe right now because we are at the other side of the mountain. People ask questions regarding the economic impact caused by the volcano eruption. Actually, we talk about the big island. From our map, you can see the whole area actually is quite big. That's around 100,000 square meters, and with a total population of 150,000. So affected area is just around small areas down to the southern west areas. 60% of the local GDP actually came from the tourism. So the local governance, the mayor of Hawaii emphasized several times that there's no business because of volcano eruption. It's not. Everything continue run normally. Although right now we have the difficulties, that's a hard time for part of the island. But look at the helicopters for tourism, surfing, everything run normally, not impacted. Just these small affected areas. That's the most critical areas and they're at the critical time period. But for other areas at the big islands is safe and everything just run normally. We talk about the local law enforcement team, the police and local officials will force people to leave, but still the local residents is not really till the last minute, so the local government still allow them to stay at where they are and also give them big support. This is a very beautiful island, but it's beautiful because of volcanoes. So that's actually also write down the whole chapter about how human being and the nature, especially volcano, can coexist harmoniously. And because of volcano that bring the energy to the local residents, to the local areas, and that's maybe also the most sexy part of this area. Alright, after looking at our footage, hope you can have a more understanding of the current situation. The footage we show you, we captured. We can see very clearly some buildings, houses actually already damaged because of the magma. You cannot predict the direction of the flow. And it also shows that the two flows of magma, they can flow together and then separate it. Nothing can be predicted.
它的这个
there is a thermal
就是它
point,
岩浆流就威胁到了这个电厂的位置，
and the
那么
magma
当地的这个
actually
官员呢
flow
也紧急
to
地
the
把这
area
个
of
当中
thermal
很多易
plant.
爆的这
So
种
the
物品
local
都撤
residents
走，然后
actually
它的这个
move the
这个埋在地下的
materials
这种存储
as
这个气体的
explosive. So also the
很
gas
多的都干净，但是呢，引发爆炸的可能，他们如果说
container,
这
so they
个
also move
岩浆流
them.
真的从这个位置
So we say if the magma in the
这个电
end
厂上面就
flew over the whole
影响
thermal
对于目
thermal
前的这样一
plant,
个情况，再看
the
到在
local
整个这片土地
residents
之上，
should be safe, and also the local government already took actions to move all the explosive materials out of the area.
不了。那我们继续聊我们刚才的话片子的结尾去探讨的这个话题，就是说夏威夷人。
Let's continue our topic. We talk about the people in Hawaii. They had really rich experience dealing with volcano eruption. Volcano brought natural disaster to them from human being point of view, but on the other hand, also brought a benefit to local peoples. We talk about the eruption in the end will enlarge the area of the islands. Actually, I discussed with local residents regarding these issues. We talk about every time the magma covers the whole area, which means a greater amount of land, and you also need to wait for several years to rebuild your homeland. But they told me and we not really think about this issue from this angle. Every time after eruption of a volcano, it enlarged the whole area of the island for several kilometers, for the several square meters. And this is their way to respect the nature and also their way of living. They have very healthy and positive thinking and lifestyle. There are 2 ambulances, I believe, right now entering to the areas. We don't know what happened.
我们也希望并不会有太严重的事情发生。
I hope nothing really serious happened there.
我们知道这次这个夏威夷的这个火山喷发之后呢，对人员的这个
After eruption
方面呢，并没有造成特别大的
There's no casualty reported.
被这个报道的这个严
There's
重的
one
这个
case
受伤呢，就是
reported is
在大概在2天之前吧，有一位这个男子
wounded.
说是在自家的
Around 2
阳台上的
days
时候
ago,
被这
a
个
man
喷溅起来的岩
at
浆
the
溅射到了
balcony
腿部，然后把整个把
was
腿下面的
hurted his lower part of the leg
目前呢没有说
because
它的
of
这
the
个更新的
magma.
它的这个
There's
生命有
no
没有受到威胁
updated
但是根据专家的介绍
information
呢，
talk about
熔岩可以说是非
this
常的危险
wounded
即使
person.
是
We talk about the
它这
magma
个喷溅
actually
起
is
来的
very
这个建筑里
dangerous
面包含的这个岩石的这个物质啊，
because
很可能很小的一块儿，它的重量
the
和一台
minerals
电冰箱的重量差不多，就相当于
let's
电冰
look
箱
at
打在
very
你身
small
上，而且
pieces,
呢
but you can
温度
see
非常的
actually
高
have the same weight
所以
as
说即使是仅仅是一小块
the refrigerator. So that's
都会造成
only small pieces of magma, small piece of mineral that may endanger human beings' life.
我们在前2天
So this kind of ambulance actually several days
看
ago
到的
we
并没有这么多。
didn't see this many of ambulance coming into this area. I hope nothing really serious down there. And all the best luck to the people in that
我之
area.
前第一次来这个大岛的时候
For the first time I visited Big Island,
近距离的观看那个火
so
山。
I look very closely to the volcano. So we look at the magma entering into the ocean. I remember really, really clearly that people, if you visit this area, so you enter into the volcano park, you need to walk several kilometers to finally reach that area. So right now, the distance cut short, so I still need to like hiking around 1 to 2 kilometers. So you walk on the really black materials. Actually, that's the frozen magma. And at the end of the journey, you look at the magma entering into the ocean. So the black frozen magma, that's the surface. And on that raised surface of the land, they built their home, they built up their house. We say, why people build up the house here? They say because of they lost their own home several years ago. This is the land that belonged to them. They want to move back. So several years later, they had this opportunity, they had a chance to rebuild their home on the frozen, cooled magma. This is a really touching story. If you have time and opportunity to visit the volcano park, please really pay a visit to these areas. And we also see the papaya. We cannot say the earth, we just say this kind of raised surface of land. This is something new to the people and quite shocking. I also would like to share with you the local people's lifestyle and also how they coexist with nature harmoniously. So we all know when you say hi to people here in Hawaii, you need to say aloha. The first time I came here in Hawaii, let me share with you my own experience. The first time I came here, I think about aloha is hi, because people always say aloha to you. So I thought it means hi or hello. But when I say goodbye to them when I'm leaving, they also say aloha to me. Actually, it's the same to say hi or goodbye. You all can say aloha. So I searched in the dictionary. The meaning behind aloha actually means I love you. So that's really inspiring me. It's like you can use aloha to everything. Aloha spirit. Actually, aloha is not just a word. It reflects Hawaiian spirit. Their love to life, embrace everything. To the local people, their understanding of aloha is no matter what kind of environment we are living in, no matter what kind of nature gave to us. Although it's very difficult, we use love to embrace everything, no matter it's good or bad, positive or negative. This is something really priceless. We all know Hawaiian people really warm, they have really hospitality. A lot of people here, we just talked to people in the relief station, I interviewed them. They all told me that why we say aloha, this is our spirit. Although we face, like we see our own home covered by magma, we lost our home, but with aloha spirit, we have the hope to rebuild our home years after. I believe aloha actually brings the new meaning to the local people and also really touch me because it's something new, and also I see people's passion to the future. I didn't see people really head down, depressed. They're quite positive. And they have really deep understanding of volcano activity, and also maybe because they have nothing, no area to go, and this is the only area belonged, so they have to back to their homeland. So let me share with you my stories about how local people coexist with the nature. We talk about for Hawaii, people have a lot of understanding regarding the volcano activity. When I first time came here, the local guide told me a story. It's like when the volcano erupting, magma flow over your
我曾经
house.
问过他一个问题，我说有没有可能我看它快流过来了？
I asked a question. It's like, can I use something artificially? I use different ways. I dig a big hole like to channel the magma to flow to other areas. They say, okay, that's one way to go. We can do that. But when you change the direction of magma flow, you cause the danger to other peoples, and you not abide by the nature pattern. You see the magma really approaching to you. You say, I dig a channel to redirect the magma. Actually, it broke the law. Of course, government will give you support, but for local people, they think about that's the arrangement of destiny. And it also reflects how local people coexist with the nature. Another story told by the local residents. They talk about the fishermen. And their generations actually also to carry on the whole business. People actually got married in a very early age. I believe the young guy around 24 to 25 years old, he said, I have really big son. So the fishing technique he taught to his son, and his son got the first fish, and really happily to say, look at that. And the young man said, my son, this is very small, it's not mature, it's not an adult fish. You need to set it free. So the fish will bring more generations to the ocean, and will also bring more hopes to our life. That what it is the young dad told his son. He saw his son may be really disappointed, but surprisingly, the son accepted and also set the fish free. This is the way they respect the nature. From these very small stories, but that reflects people living on this very beautiful big island. Their philosophy actually are totally different from the people outside the islands. Because of volcano, it created the whole island here. It created an old picturesque scene here. Everything right now run normally in the good order. We see people in the relief stations. You look at them, and also the local officials, local residents. They are quite good. So they through different commercial ways to maintain their life. We can see everything pretty goes well. It's a very charming place. What I saw these days, actually, we have a lot of tourists. We also have tourists from China, although the volcano erupted. But a lot of people actually choose this time to Big Island to see, to witness the erupted scene.
不是特别光明磊落的这个说法吧，就是很多人其实也是，很多当地的人呢也是，这个旅游公司呢也是通过这样的一个机会，
local touring companies also take this opportunity to make a business because more people actually want to see the erupted volcano. And of course, you can say this is good or bad, but this is a very important source for the local companies and local residents.
我们现在往这个另外一个方向稍微移动一下，希望看看能不能
Let's head into the different directions to show you different scenes. This is at the Big Island of Hawaii.
距离非常的有限，并不能带给大家更多的
We cannot bring you more different views.
希望大家有机会的话，
But
一定可以来到
if you have time and opportunities, please come to Big Island. If you're really interested in the coastal life, really interested in the life under the volcano, you can buy a land here. It's not that expensive. Let's talk about like the magma covered land. That's just several $1,000. You can buy it, build up the house. You can try this new lifestyle.
如果你对这个地质研究感兴趣的话，你就更应该来。
If you're interested in the study of
分享一下当地人是如何面对
geography, and you can learn more, and also you can learn how local people deal with their life, their way to deal with the nature. So it's to really give you a new way to look at the world, to understand the world. So at the end of the live stream, I would like to do a little bit of advertisement. It's a really beautiful, nice place. Please come here.
本次夏威夷的这个火山喷发的这个目前的这样一个状况呢，根据很多的这个
So this is the updated situation of volcano eruption, and the scientists say it will last a longer time period. So the local residents also understand it's a long journey for them.
解决目前的这样一种状况，并且去承
They will solve the current situation and embrace
这边还有没有
the
其他
situation.
网友给我们的留言和提问？
I don't know whether we have further questions raised by our viewers.
好的，导播告诉我们目前没有更多的问题。那么
All right.
我们今天呢，给大家展示
Without
的
any new questions.
关于夏威夷这个火山喷
So
发
this
最
is
新
the
的
most
情况
updated
给
information,
大家带来
the
到这里，
things
那么也会在
folded here
未来
at Hawaii Big Island. We
我可
will
能
bring
在
the most updated
明天的话
information
就
to
要离开这个
you.
地方了。在未来的话，
So
我
I
们会
have to
用其他的
leave
方式
tomorrow,
去继续的关
and
注
hope we
这
can
起
use
事件，因为
other ways
其实
to give you the
其实我
updated
去过的这
coverage.
个可以说
For
自然灾害也
myself,
很多，包括龙卷风、地震。包
I've
括
been
这个
to
洪水
many
包
different
括飓
places
风
affected by
但
natural
是相对
disasters
来讲都是一个比较
like
快的处理。这
volcano,
次呢，我也是
the
真的
a
这个
hurricane,
体会到了
a
这个
flood, and this time I
火山所
really
引发的这种自然灾害，它是什
feel
么样的一
that
种
the
纬度
natural
它
disaster
的
caused
跨
by
度能够达到什么样的一种状
volcano
态？对于媒体来说，对外界的人来说
for
真的
media
如
coverage
实
for
生态
people
情况
outside
都
the
很难
islands.
体会
If you're
到
not
它
really
这种
come
一
here,
点
you
一点慢
cannot
慢地
really
在变化
understand the things
当
happened
然了，它可能一时之间并没有来
in
得
a
那么剧
small
烈，所以说我
scale
们也有更多的时间可以
and
慢
in
慢
a
地
very
去
long
研究它，并
time.
且一点点地去
So we have a lot of time to study it, to counter the challenge, to counter the difficulties. Please tune in CCTV and CGTN.
以及我们的新闻频道，不管这个火山喷发的这个后续会出现什么样的情况，我们都会在第一时间给
We
您带
will
来最
bring
新
you
的资讯。
the most updated
更多的新闻
information
故事。
about the
那么我
volcano
们今天的
eruption
这段
and
直播
also
呢
the
就为
story
大家带来到
behind.
这里
Let's
希望
come to
大
the
家
end of our live stream.
央视
Thank you
新闻
very
记者
much.
王萌，感谢
Thank you
大家
for
的收看
watching. I'm Wang Meng. Thank you for watching.